You talked about legacy, and maybe it's the wealth that we get to pass along to people. What's your take on how much wealth we provide to our family, how much wealth we might pass along to other people? You know, and I'll tell you why I'm asking the question. Maybe backing up for a second, because it's kind of a loaded question, but I wrestle with this too, because I sometimes think about, I want to be able to provide to Tiger, opportunities that financially we can provide to him, that sometimes I think I didn't have that provided to me, which is why I have such a hunger today, right? Like to learn to have that fight. And then I've met people along the way. I remember meeting somebody at Mastermind Talks one year, that Jason Gaynard's event. And this woman works with people who grew up in tremendous wealth, and the wealth has destroyed their family. And so I wrestle with this question of how much, right, needs to be given. And not to over explain the question, but one more bit of context is, like, I've heard, the idea of micro lending, going into areas of the world where they don't have money, and giving tiny bits of money and teaching them capitalism. And I've heard all different arguments around why that works and why that doesn't work. But the idea of passing along wealth, right, to others, giving opportunities to people. I realize that's maybe a really wide open question that you could take anywhere you want, but I'd love to just hear your thoughts about how, I know your kids are young too, so you've got a ways to go here, but.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, what I think about is, what do we stand for? Because personally, yes, I want to provide a foundation and a platform and equip my children with, the right tools and resources to go out there and be successful and make the most of themselves and be contributing human beings and right? I think for me, though, I go back to more in terms of, I look at from like wealth and passing on something. It has nothing to do with money to me personally. To me, it has to do with the core values that I believe myself and our family stand for, and how my children embody that in what they do. Whether they want to go and make $1 million a year, they want to go and travel around the world and go on mission trips, and money doesn't mean anything to them at all. To me, it's staying in alignment and congruency with the core values, and how clearly, one, did I communicate to that to them, and two, how clearly did I live that myself? And so to me, I think that's way more important from a legacy perspective, because at the end of the day, again, my definition of wealth may not be their definition of wealth. Yeah. Your definition of wealth may not be Tiger's definition of wealth. And so it's not my responsibility to instill that in some context that they are required or entitled or expected to carry that on. Yeah. For me, the best way to carry that on, or hope that they would carry that on, is to embody the core values that at the root, it has nothing to do with the external world. It's really the internal, and how the internal helps shape the external for my kids and the other people around them, and what that ripple effect looks like. So to me, that's more important from a legacy perspective. And my accountability in that is, how well did I communicate that to them and create space for them to cultivate that and carry that out in their own lives, and in turn make a difference for other people to create and define and live their own definition of wealth as well.
Would you say, are your family values that of the rich life? Is it relationships, income, community, and health, or are they different?
No, they're different. I'm actually looking at them right now because I have these up, and we have them on our wall in our house, and it's growth, respect, integrity, gratitude, attitude, accountability, appreciation, leadership, and love. And we have them like, kind of a sentence written after each one. But it's funny because now I communicate to my kids, I discipline, I acknowledge, I celebrate in terms of our core values. So it's funny, like the other day, Marie and I got into a little tiff.
Come on.
I know, right? What? No, we don't do that shit. And my daughter walks up and she goes, guys, we treat ourselves and others with love, kindness, and respect. And what I realized, I was like, one, I caught myself, right? And two, I was like, fuck yeah, Ella, like that's awesome, because my daughter is policing her parents on whether or not we are in alignment and living and fulfilling our core values as a family, right?
Yeah.
So it's really cool when you have that clarity. It's great because now we can hold each other accountable to being that authentically, right? Not just like the audio saying one thing and the video displaying another, making sure, like for me, congruency, synergy, alignment, as woo woo and out there as it sounds, which I'm not really that kind of guy. At the same time, I am that guy. And I've become that guy because I realize that when I'm congruent, I am very dangerous from the perspective of I can achieve a whole lot of shit in business. I can make an impact in relationships. I can help people at a higher level. When I'm in congruency and I'm in synergy with what I stand for and what I believe in, I really feel limitless. I feel very, like the Terminator sometimes. And also when I feel like I'm in a rut or I'm, like something's not right, my energy's low, or maybe I'm feeling a little depressed or down, I often go and look back and reflect on how in alignment am I with my core values and what I say I stand for, or what I do and don't do. And it's oftentimes when I'm incongruent and out of alignment with those things. So for me, it's important that like clarity is a big piece in whether it's my goals in my business or my relationship, or, my definition of wealth or rich life or whatever it is. Because that helps me say yes to the right things, no to the wrong things, know when I need to course correct, know when I'm killing it and I should double down and lean in harder and try and peel back another layer. And so without that clarity, it doesn't allow or empower me to be as intentional as I know I can be, because when I'm clear, I'm an executor. Like most of the guys that listen to this podcast are probably very intentional and executors. It's oftentimes when I'm not clear on what it is that I'm going after that I spin my wheels and waste a lot of time and don't get the outcome or result or where I want to go as fast as I probably could, because I'm just not clear. I'm lacking that clarity.